Hi everyone, welcome to Jenny on a Jenny Talk Show. This is where we discuss about social issues that cut across the socio-economical status. This year I promise to bring more informative videos, and today we are going to talk about surrogacy in Kenya. I have a guest, a lawyer by profession, very experienced. I'll allow her to introduce herself and then I pick it from there. Karibu.
Hello everyone. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your show. My name is Enricah Dulo. I'm an advocate of the High Court in Kenya. I specialize my practice focusing only on family law. Thank you.
Enricah, as I pick it from there, tell us what is surrogate?
A surrogate is a woman who agrees to lend her womb to carry the baby on behalf of another woman.
Who can be a surrogate mother in Kenya?
We do not have any specific law that regulates surrogacy, so it's not very easy to say who can be a surrogate. However, when you go to a clinic, a fertility clinic that offers IVF, that is in vitro fertilization, they will determine who can be a surrogate. Often, you have to be over 25 years old, you've had at least one viable and live birth.
I've heard you say that the law does not govern the surrogate in Kenya. How is it done? How is the process of surrogacy done in Kenya?
The doctors are able to do surrogacy because they, by their profession, they are allowed to do in vitro fertilization. The problem comes in, or where there is a gray area, is when the baby has been born by the gestational surrogate. How do you transfer this baby legally to the mother or to the commissioning parents? That is where we do not have a law. There's a vacuum.
Okay. Are they paid? Is a surrogate mother paid?
A surrogate mother is paid. It's paid a fee. However, surrogacy is not commercial. They are paid a fee considering that she's doing the intended parents a favor to carry the child. As you know, with all pregnancy, it reaches a time when you have to now take leave off work. And even after the baby is born, as a surrogate mother, you hand over the baby. You don't have the baby, but you still need to go through the maternity period.
Yes.
And if you are self-employed at this point, there's no income coming in.
Yes.
So the compensation that the intended parents give a surrogate is meant to cover for this. It's actually a compensation, but it's not a commercial transaction.
Okay. Many people out there, I've seen them asking on social media, I would like to be a surrogate mother. How do I go about it? How do I find people who are willing to hire my womb to be a surrogate mother?
Okay, in very, very few instances, can you just approach a stranger, or would a stranger come to you and ask you to be a surrogate for them if it's not within a family context? So if you would like to be a surrogate, I would encourage you to go on Google, find out about the surrogate, about the fertility clinics in Kenya. You will find their locations and addresses, approach them. They will take you through a medical test to determine whether or not you're suitable to be a surrogate. That's the best procedure that I can recommend.
Wow, that is very, it's very, very informative. I'm also learning about surrogacy in Kenya, and it's a topic that is I'm very, very interested in. How many forms of surrogacy do we have?
We have two forms of surrogacy. We have traditional surrogacy and gestational surrogacy. Traditional surrogacy is where a woman who is not able to give birth, and in this instance, if she's married, then she allows her husband to have intercourse with another woman who's agreed to carry the baby for her and hand over the baby once she gives birth. That is known as traditional surrogacy. The one that you often see in media and the one that is often mainly encouraged is known as gestational surrogacy. Gestational surrogacy involves the IVF process, in vitro fertilization. And in gestational surrogacy, the surrogate carries a child that she has no genetic link with, meaning it is not her eggs that are used in the fertilization process. She only carries the baby. So we have two forms, traditional surrogacy and gestational surrogacy. And gestational surrogacy is the one that is currently forming traction, and you find a lot on social media being talked about.
Enricah, I believe it's not all rosy pertaining surrogacy, being a surrogate mother. Tell my viewers, what are the pros and cons of choosing to be a surrogate mother?
I believe on the pros that, remember, most of these women who sign up for surrogacy probably don't have regular source of income or regular work, and they are often given a compensation during the period when they are carrying the surrogate child, and even after giving birth they get some lump sum amount. So that is a pros. That for the next 9 months when I'm carrying this child, I will have a regular source of income, and there will be a larger compensation when I give birth. And sometimes if the birth results in twins, the compensation that you are to get at the end of it increases. Now the cons, like with all pregnancies comes risks. We know of maternal mortality. Your body doesn't know that the baby you are carrying is a surrogate. You will go through all the emotions and biological changes that come with pregnancy. In the unfortunate cases, that pregnancy could be your last one. It may bring life-threatening risks with it that the doctor tells you cannot
conceive again.
Not conceive because the baby is not yours, but you cannot carry a baby to term again. Yes.
So it's not all about the monetary part. Also look at the risk as you choose to be a surrogate mother. What happens when the baby is born? Who appears on the birth certificate of the child?
When a baby is born, remember we have the Births and Deaths Registration Act in Kenya. So Section 10 of that act says that the birth mother is the one listed. And before a birth certificate comes, it's a birth notification. So when a baby is born, it is the birth mother that is listed. It's irrelevant that the birth mother is a surrogate. Yes.
So the name that appears on the birth certificate is of the birth mother.
Notification. The name that appears on the birth notification is of the surrogate mother.
Surrogate mother,
Yes.
I mean. No, sorry. Thank you. Now what? The child grows, reaches an age of going to school. They need a birth certificate. What happens?
Often the surrogate cases that we cover, the parents don't wait until that long. Remember that the surrogate hands over the baby to the intended parents immediately after birth. And they are given with the birth notification. So normally they go through a legal process so that the baby gets a birth certificate. And often you get that within the first year of birth, the child already has a birth certificate. They go through the court process. Our law is not clear, so some will opt for adoption. Though it's very minimal, those who opt for adoption. Often the cases that I've handled, we go to the children court, and the children court grant orders that are enough for the registrar of births to issue birth certificate.
Enricah, take us through the ethical issues surrounding the whole process of surrogacy.
I think some of the ethical issues, number one, would be you get a same-sex couple, they want to have a child. We know very well that in Kenya, the law provides that marriage is between adults of the opposite sex. So what should a fertility clinic do when they are approached by a same-sex couple that they want to have a child? And also considering that we don't have any law on surrogacy yet, will they go ahead or will they turn them down? And even after they have the child, how will they have parental rights transferred to them? So those are some of the ethical issues that I believe fertility clinics grapple with. Maybe some of them allow, some of them don't. But what I know from practice is that a lot of people of same sex who are not Kenyans, often from Western countries, who they know that there's a vacuum in Kenya on surrogacy laws, and because it's not outrightly banned, they come to Kenya, they're same sex and they have children, and they are able to get this. The surrogate is able to relinquish her parental rights and custody over the child, and they take the child out with them. So that's an ethical issue, and it's because there's a vacuum in the law. Yes.
Is there a time that we'll get where the law is very clear on surrogacy?
Actually, there are two bills in Parliament. One is in the Senate, one is in the National Assembly. Both of them are talking about assisted reproduction, and the product of any assisted reproduction is a child.
Okay, yeah.
So these are private members' bills. I don't know why they've taken so long in Parliament to be passed, but we have bills in place.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. What are the rights of the child who is a product of surrogate?
A child is a child, whether the child is adopted, whether the child was conceived through gestational surrogacy, IVF process, the rights of the children are equal. So it doesn't matter that this child was born through IVF surrogacy process or from the birth mother or through adoption. The Children Act and the Constitution provide rights for the children, and it does not discriminate. Yes.
We've had it. It's very clear. The law is very clear on the children's right, and whichever way a child is gotten, they have equal rights. What is your parting shot to my viewers?
Oh, thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in and being with us so far. My parting shot is, it's important that the Attorney General would work hand in hand with the two members of Parliament who've drafted these two bills. One is in the Senate, one is in the National Assembly. As a legal practitioner, for me, it really doesn't matter which one is passed first, if in case they don't get to be merged. But it's important that we have a law on IVF, the process, and gestational surrogacy.
Wow.
Yes.
Take this opportunity to thank you so much for taking your time and coming to have this very productive conversation. And from me and my view and Enricah, we say
Bye.